back, everyone. This is Jeremy Richards again with another video discussing U.S. immigration for Canadians. And today I'm going to break down something a little bit different for all you Canadians out there. So every Canadian who crosses into the United States needs to understand how the United States tracks your entries and exits to the United States. So whether you're coming into the United States for business, shopping, visiting family, snowbird, working in the US, whatever it is, your travel history matters, and it's important to understand how you can track your history as well as how the US government and CBP tracks your history to the United States. And yes, even for short trips back and forth, if the records are wrong, it could impact you in your immigration to the United States. So why does this matter? Well, your US entry and exit records affect future visa applications, whether you want to get a TN, an L, or other work authorization in the United States. Maybe you want to study in the United States. Maybe you just want to be a snowbird in the United States. It could determine whether or not you have a potential overstay on your record, and it could impact your ability to re-enter the United States after an unauthorized stay in the United States or a violation of your status in the United States. And a lot of Canadians run into these issues because of incorrect I-94 admission records, and then also mismatches in what is called the Arrival and Departure Information System, or ADIS, that the US government relies upon for tracking your entries and exits to the United States, which could lead to unintentional overstays in the United States. So what is ADIS? ADIS is the Arrival and Departure Information System used by the government to pull data about your entries and exits to the United States, and it's used by CBP. And the purpose is to create a complete, accurate, and automated record of every traveler's entries and exits to the United States. And ADIS pulls information from various different databases. And it's not directly from the traveler, but it's from these specific databases. So the databases that ADIS uses in order to track your entries and exits to the United States, one is called APIS, or Air Sea Passenger Data System. The other is called BCI, which is the Land Border Entry Exit Records. The other is the NIIS, or NIS, Non-Immigrant Visa Information. The other is CVIS, so if you're a student, you're familiar with this one, which is the Student Exchange Visitor Information. The other is ELLIS, or Claims 3, which is the Immigration Benefits Database. And the final one is IDENT, or the Department of Homeland Security Biometric System. And that's the fingerprints and the photos that you're taking at a USCIS appointment, with Department of State, or at CBP when they're fingerprinting and photographing you. That's the IDENT system. So how does this fit in with Canadians? So since 2013, Canada and the US have been sharing data at the border. So when you enter Canada, CBSA automatically sends that record to the United States. And the US treats your return to Canada as an implied exit from the United States. So what does this do? Well, it confirms you left the United States lawfully, and it helps prevent accidental overstays. And it reduces paperwork back and forth between the countries. So for most Canadians, this process is 100% electronic. There's nothing we need you to do. And entry to the United States as well is 100% electronic for most Canadians coming into the United States. So most cases, it is tracked automatically when you enter and automatically when you exit. And CBSA and CBP share that data. So what does ADIS track? Well, it tracks your biographic data. So it tracks your name, your date of birth, your nationality, and your passport details. It also tracks your entries, your exit, the port of entries that you're using, whether you cross by land or air, and that important I-94 record, or your I-94 number. And as far as immigration data, they're tracking your visa category, your changes of status within the United States, and your immigration benefit history, any petitions that you filed, any extensions that you might have filed, and so on. So why does this all matter? Well, a simple error in this information of your entries, your exits, your status, your changes of status could cause a future denied entry, a refusal for a visa, or being marked as an overstay. And if you're marked as an overstay, then that can have serious complications. If you overstay your visa by 6 months or more, it can mean you have a 3-year bar for entry to the United States. If you overstay your visa by 1 year or more, it could mean you get a 10-year bar for entry to the United States. So it's important that your I-94 match your actual travel history. So you need to verify with CBP and through your I-94 lookup system. Anytime you come to the United States, make sure you're entered properly in the proper status, and that when you exit, that there was a record of your exit from the United States as well, to make sure that that is tracked properly. If not, you need to fix it immediately, and there are ways to fix that with CBP. So if you routinely come to the United States, or you plan on working or living in the United States, it's important to understand how CBP and CBSA track your history and your travels back and forth. Don't assume they don't know when you were here or they don't know when you left. They do. And if you overstay or you're in the not admitted in the proper status, this is all incumbent on you to make sure it's correct. It's not CBP's job. CBP will admit you to the United States, and we tell every client after they come and they apply for a visa, for a TN, for example, we pull their I-94 records with their passport biographic page to make sure that they were admitted properly, and then submit any corrections if it was done in error. We just had one last week where the person came in on as a TN, but CBP admitted him as a visitor. We instructed that client immediately to contact CBP, who then made a correction to the I-94 to correct it from a visitor to a TN so that they were in compliance. So if you cross the United States often, it's understanding the ATA system and how it works is very important. Check your I-94. Make sure you know what your I-94 record says, your entry and exit records, and make sure you correct any issues that you spot. So if you're Canadian and you travel often, make sure you're aware of this. And don't forget to like our channel, subscribe, and drop any questions that you have in the comments. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.